Sathi. I managed in English, but my guest was speaking in Gujarati, which I could understand because Gujarati is very close to Hindi. However, today's program is basically in English, and we will also speak in Punjabi if need be. And my guest is social activist Rani Bilku. You must have heard of her because she is often in the press and also television and radio. And and as I said, we will speak in English as well as Punjabi. And Rani Bilku is a project development manager, and she is a proficient communicator, which I have seen actually in the last 1 hour. And she is also bilingual. As I said, she can speak in Punjabi as well as in English. And what she's doing is that there's an organization, a voluntary organization, a charitable organization called Gina. Gina means to live. And she is the founder of that. And at the same time, I want to tell you that the favorite subject she has or she fights for the community is the forced marriages and honor-based violence in our society and female genital mutilation in certain sections of blacks and whites, and sex selection abortion, जिसे पंजाबी में कहते हैं भाई फीमेल फीटिसाइड, अंग्रेज़ी में कहते हैं और पंजाबी में कहते हैं या हिंदी में कहते हैं भ्रूण हत्या. एंड grooming के बारे में you must have heard about that one as well, that there was a lot of grooming of white girls. It is not just white girls, it is also can be Sikh girls or Hindu girls or perhaps even Muslim girls. So these are the issues which are hitting our community, and we should be talking about it openly. And thank goodness that she is here, Rani Bilku is here, and she is an expert in this field. She works hard in this field, and she will be able to shed light on these problems. Let's welcome Rani Bilku first. Rani Bilku ji, sorry, let me say in English. Rani Bilku ji, welcome to our program.
Oh, thank you very much, and thank you very much for the kind introduction as well.
It is very important that we talk about these issues. I know the people who are not even very much interested in politics or what is going on in this country. I know for a fact, I'm sure you also know, that people are worried about various issues.
They're worried about various issues, but also they're worried, but they also worry to talk about it. So it's really good that you've invited me today to talk about these issues that we hide because of the is because of besti ho chugi, jasali izzat daya or shame. So I think it's really important that you're tackling, and you've invited me here to talk about these issues.
Right, because when we talk about honor, the honor is supposed to be protected by the women or the girls only. It is not for the boys. Maybe rarely there is. Yeah. I know we will talk about that as well. But it is always poor girls who are blamed for everything. What kind of cases you have come across in that field? Okay,
when we talk about the honor is the shame, hamesha say can there's kida kude aana kar edda nahi karna, don't do these things because pe di pagdi it's the honor of the family, the shame we brought on the honor on the whole family, hai na? So things like, for example, everyday things. If you look at it, don't do these certain things.
All the restrictions, all the prohibitions.
Or saying to college nahi jana, education nahi karna, jo utthe nahi jana. For example, we were talking, if you don't mind me saying, your son is in America and works for multi-corporate company. Now, how much is that available for our girls to go abroad? Especially khas karke kuariyan ho gaya, hai na? So we limit their capabilities. Karke sharam di loki ki kahoge, hai na? Or baal and I remember I was born and bred in Birmingham, hai na? And utte asi do gutta karniya, baal nahi khulle chadne, makeup nahi launa jad tak biyah nahi hunda. And here I have to say this, Sathi ji, in this Halevi in 2018, Halevi Sadiya family hagiya who believe in those things.
Okay, when you talk about Birmingham, because Birmingham, मैं जानता रहना हूँ.
Hanji.
And in the old time, because I came in the 60s, at that time there were few women at that time, but there were a lot of restrictions on them. They used to go to work and look after the children. They were cooking, and the men folk were going to the pub and everything. So they had a really hard life. On top of that, as you put it rightly, कि उन्होंने कहा जाता सी, you are not allowed to do this, you are not allowed to that, you are not allowed to wear certain clothes and provocative clothes or ragdar clothes.
So when you
and
talk
things
about
like that.
provocative, for example, it could be even just wearing jeans. Many other, you know, je mummy kana मैं jeans पा सकती हैं. I haven't got any jeans now, but we had to wear tops, which is you know, almost by the knees, because they didn't want to show, you know, any part of our body. So it wasn't kita sleeveless pona jaida. It was just the fact that even what we were wearing had to be quite baggy and loose.
Yeah. In this segment, we are talking about the honor.
Yeah.
Which is, as I said before, कि सिर्फ कुड़ियाँ या women ही honor दियाँ ठेकेदार हैगियाँ, बाकी मुंडे जो मर्जी करते फिरन. ते जदों असी गल करते हैं, because I talked about 60s, because you were born later on and you brought up in Birmingham in the Midlands and everything. We living in London area, we look differently on these things, and somehow I feel
your ideas were different. The ideology
is different. I don't know what's the reason behind it, but do you think the society has changed now?
Oh, I think definitely the society has changed, but I think there are still deep issues around certain things of what a woman is allowed to do or not do. So
it's still going on.
It's still going on. I see this every day.
You know what I said was, as you were born in this country, and that generation, which is my generation, they're going up. They are no longer in command. Let's put it this way, even if they are alive. Now they are new. You are second generation person, and then there are third and fourth are coming up as well. But the second generation, I don't want to call them immigrants, but second generation Asians, do they still have that kind of ideology which you have just said?
Yes, they do, because what happens is they're trying to uphold the traditions, what they think they should be upholding. But for example, India has moved on. India, in many ways, is a lot more modern in its outlook than, say, the Punjabis in Punjab. And here, we're holding on to a lot of those traditions that maybe our fathers and our mothers left behind in the 60s and 70s. But they've moved on. So India has this problem. If you look at Thomson Reuters a couple of weeks ago, India is the most dangerous country in the world for women. So when it comes to, you know, sexual exploitation, when it comes to modern day slavery, when it comes to rapes, most prolific. And one of the reasons is because we haven't given the platform where we can share these things. Right? So we bring those ideology here in the UK. Now, when we're looking at Sharam, so I'm not just looking at 12, 13-year-old girls and looking at them thinking, oh, they've got to dress appropriately. I'm looking at mothers who are elderly mothers who unfortunately are widowed, and then they're now being abused by their children who are in their 40s, 30s, 40s.
That's a separate issue. We will come to that.
No, but the whole point when we talk about izzat and shame, so the reason is she won't tell anyone.
When you said that they are being abused by the children, I thought, are you talking about economically?
So they're being economically abused, and at times they're being restrained, controlled, who comes and who can't come. So when we're talking about izzat, the lady, the widower, won't want to say anything because she thinks, sharam di mare hai main idan de nyane nu jaram dita. So, you know, when we're looking at shame and honor, is different forms of shame.
Coming back to what I said originally, because you are the first generation Asian, second generation Asian, and then there's third, fourth, etc. You said that we have brought these kind of backward ideas from India.
Yes.
Now, I accept that. But the time has changed now, hasn't it? I mean, in this part of the world, I'm talking about London, I'm sure it is happening in Midland also, that if you ask a girl, would you, you should marry somebody from India, which she hardly knows, has she got the courage to say no?
I think when we're looking at the communities here in the UK, so if we're looking
let's talk about all the communities.
Let's talk about all the communities.
Not just India, Pakistan, Bangladesh.
So without a doubt, if you look at, there's something what the government here have got, the forced marriage unit, which we're on part of the steering group. Now, if you look at the forced marriage unit, a significant amount of people that have called in are from Pakistani origin, right, and are girls. And a significant amount of those girls are actually are teenagers and in their early 20s, because that's when there's more risk of a forced marriage. But then there's also another country that comes in, apart from Bangladesh, is actually India. So there are still forced marriages going on.
Yes.
So I'll give you an example, Sathi ji. If, for example, आप कहते जब मुंडा कुड़ी दा रिश्ता देख लेंदे हुन आजकल तो कोई नहीं करता जब उथे नंद कारज ते बैठना उदों ही पता लगता कौन आ the people go and they sort of say हाँ मुंडा कुड़ी गाल कर लो देख लो, and they will say हाँ सारा कुछ ठीक है. Sometimes because of social media is a good thing and a bad thing. So, sometimes, and I know girls will say I really like this boy, really good. Now I found out after we've got engaged, like drug karda jo hor koi kuri, whatever it may be, and the other way around, they might say, oh kuri ni, I don't think she's going to fit in. Now the young person will say, Mum, look, you know what, I don't want to get married because mainu kuch pata laga, and it's no. माँ कहती हाय हाय नहीं कार्ड भी बन ले सारा कुछ हो गया करना ही अब है ना. At that point, from arranged marriage, it becomes a forced marriage.
Okay, so you're saying it is still prevalent.
It is still prevalent,
accept that
and especially if you look at now, if you look at the Punjabi community or the Indian community, we're doing very well in terms of education, economically. Now there's so many of our youngsters in university, and a lot of them. Significant majority, they don't have any debt because mum and dad pays for it. But on the condition, when they get out of university, they marry who they have to be told to get married to. And that is also a form of coercion.
That's a form of blackmail, really.
Blackmail, yes.
That you got to listen to us, you got to accept what we are saying.
And that's not just for girls, it's also for boys as well.
Yeah, it's also boys. Okay, when we talk about these girls, forced into marriage and everything, because I, nowadays, at least in the people I know, I hardly ever hear that the girl was forced to get married or the boy was forced to get married. Few years back, yes. So the community has progressed, but there are still pockets of.
There's still pockets of it.
You know these kind of ideologies are associated with immigration. Now, England is the only country where there is less immigration. There is immigration, but there's less immigration. But if you go to Canada and America, Australia and New Zealand, there's a lot of immigration and new people are coming in.
Yeah.
They are bringing those old dakianusi ਜਿਹਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ideology stereotypical ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ. But in England, it is in decline, in my view.
It's in decline. So in October, we went to India and we did a feasibility study, some research. What are the push and pull factors for people wanting to come to England? So we found out that a lot of the time, people actually don't want to come to England, quite rightly what you're saying, because they're saying, the government got a hostile environment. You can't rent, you can't get bank account, etc. So the message is going, the only time they're coming to England is when they get married.
That is correct.
And that is where also we're finding abuse there. So there's two forms of abuse. One is when ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਧੱਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਵਿਆਹ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ so ਵਿਚਾਰੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਦਾ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ and they think they're going to come, they got married nicely and then they come and ਉਹ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਜਾਂ ਕੁੜੀ ਗੱਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ. And sometimes because they get forced into marriage because he may be due to his sexuality, right, he gets forced. So ਮਾਪੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਤੂੰ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਾ ਲਾ at least ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਤੂੰ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰ ਜੋ ਕੁਝ ਮਰਜ਼ੀ ਤੂੰ ਕਰੀ, right? And secondly, you get people coming who only come for a sham marriage because they think, oh, it's a quick passport.
Yes.
And ਇੱਥੇ ਮੈਂ ਰਹਿ ਲੂੰਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਵਿਚਾਰੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਕੇਸ ਹੋਇਆ ਜਿਹੜੇ
ਕੋਈ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੇਸ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਆਏ ਹੋਣਗੇ ਕਿ the boy is illegally in this country or ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ the only passport to immigration is to get married. ਤੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਕੁੜੀ ਦੇ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕੁੜੀ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਦੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੁਣ ਆਇਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰਾਣਾ ਪੱਕਾ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗਾ ਆਪੇ ਸਰ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੇਸ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਵੈਂਚੁਅਲੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਰਿਜ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਆ then they come to know ਕਿ the boy is not really up to the standard of the girl.
I mean look if you're illegal here or overstay in England, I'm not anyway like a legal expert in immigration, but from my understanding is you can't marry someone if you're illegal here anyway. But jere hoya in the past, there have been those which are what we call sham marriages or fi pata, but that can happen here. Je koi British na tusi ਵਿਆਹ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਚ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਉਹ ਚੰਗਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਜਾਂ ਇਦਾਂ ਸੀਗਾ ਹਨਾ but
so ਇਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਕੇਸ ਵੀ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਹੋਣਗੇ
ਸਾਰੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ and especially ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਵਿਚਾਰਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੇ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਝ ਕਾਫੀ ਖਰਚਾ ਕਰ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਕਿ ਬਲੈਕ ਤੋਂ ਆਏ ਆ ਹਨਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਣ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ 4 ਦਿਨ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੁੜੀ ਜਾਂ ਮੁੰਡਾ ਇੱਥੇ ਰਹਿੰਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਡੋਮੈਸਟਿਕ ਵਾਇਲੈਂਸ ਦਾ ਕੇਸ ਲਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਹਨਾ so both ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿਕਟਿਮਸ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਵਿਕਟਿਮਸ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਆਪਾਂ ਕਹਿ ਨਹੀਂ ਸਕਦੇ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਵਿਕਟਿਮ
ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸਮ ਦੇ ਵੀ ਕੇਸ ਦੇਖੇ ਹੈਗੇ ਕਿ the girl even the girls they come from India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, etc. As soon as they come here they learn the ropes, then they exploit the family, then they exploit the boy also, they sort of blackmail them, and back home they file the case for dowry and things like that.
And ਇੱਥੇ ਫਿਰ domestic violence ਦਾ ਲਾ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਆ but remember ਇੱਥੇ the only thing ਮੈਂ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਚਾਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ whilst there are victims of domestic violence but the government needs to not sometimes all of them are real cases of domestic violence, so I think they need to start probing into that as well.
So you come across these kind of cases which is not true, that there's a domestic violence, but there can also be the truth in it, but those who are the genuine victims of domestic violence, they also suffer, because the judge cannot decide whether it is a genuine domestic violence
but
or not.
That can be like everything, but what you have to present the evidence but all I would say is that for those who are being forced into a marriage that they have to now there's legislation in 2014 in July that to say you can't get forced into a marriage so we must remember that it's illegal to force someone into a marriage.
That's right. But to quote one example which was published day before yesterday, there was a case where the girl was forced to get married in Bangladesh, no, Pakistan, I think, in Pakistan. And she was, at that time, she was only 15 years old. And she got pregnant. And when she came back, she filed the case. She complained to the police. And the father, that's the day before yesterday, was imprisoned for 4.5 years. And the mother was imprisoned for 3.5 years. This is the first case where the parents were imprisoned. So what I'm trying to say through our medium is that if you force your child, that's what can happen to you.
And that also means it's not just say legally married. Even if you did a nandkaraj of a 15-year-old or you did a nikah of a 15-year-old, it's still illegal because when you're under 18 you cannot consent to a marriage. That's illegal. So just because this is registered nahi kita, it's not a forced marriage.
Because today there was a discussion on the radio everywhere. It is the news today that Sharia law, for example, if you get married, we are talking about all the communities here, and if you get married under the Sharia, you can call it law or whatever, and if you are not registered in this country, you can really lose if there is a case for divorce. But the judge, but the judge today gave the judgment. Yesterday he gave the judgment. He says even under Sharia law or civil partnership, if you are committed to each other without getting registered, you can still be punished. But the point I am making is, when we talk about the law, sometimes it is strange that a person who is getting married, say Anand Karaj or Hindu marriage or Sharia or whatever, the girl
like a mobile, we do
is registered.
Yeah, and this is where we're finding a lot of abuse, where a lot of the time they will, for example, we've heard of Anandkar. So, first of all, the Home Office say you cannot do a Nandkarj or anything, but you've got to check the passports to make sure they're valid. But unfortunately, places of worship, they're not doing that. Right, so that's the first thing, that we have to be responsible. Our places of worship also need to be answerable and accountable. Right?
Okay, that's a good point in itself. Do you think under the political correctness, our law is softer, or under the political correctness they dare not say anything?
I absolutely agree with that, because I always say, in my skin, I'm telling you, I do not want this because this is not right. So this is where we have the likes of, you know, the liberals saying, no, we cannot do this. But where it comes to safeguarding, it's black and white. This is wrong, and we have to do something. And I don't care what someone's, you know, colour is, or gender is, or sexuality is. If it's wrong,
violence
it's against
is
the
violence.
law. Yes.
Right. Yeah. Because I quoted that, because when you think of these grooming of white girls,
yes,
as I said in my opening remarks, it's majority of them are white, and then there are Sikh girls or Hindu girls or even Muslim girls or black girls or whatever. When we talk about political correctness, it has came out, you know, with the out of that inquiry about these areas like Oxford and whatnot, that the police, the councillors, they were so scared of not doing anything.
I think
under the political correctness.
Yeah.
But I got to stop you, unfortunately. We got the break.
Thank you.
So dosto, we are talking to Rani Bilku, who is the activist and defender of rights of women and also men. And small break, and we will be back soon.
And like a mobile, we do things your way. With our new UK Plan Super, you can now enjoy 6 gigabytes of ultra-fast 4G data, unlimited UK minutes and texts, plus 100 international minutes to selected countries for the low price of just £15 for 30 days. Experience a faster world with our 4G network. Terms and conditions apply. To order your free SIM, visit likeamobile.co.uk today. Your data, your way. Like a mobile.
Air India, India's premier airline, carries forward its legacy of excellence. Air India soars to the #1 position in Heathrow's Fly Quiet and Green ranking. Its Dreamliner aircraft is almost as quiet on the outside as it is on the inside. With spacious legroom in economy, flat beds in business class, delicious cuisine and a wide range of entertainment, you are sure to reach your destination fresher and less jet-lagged. Air India is the only airline to fly direct from London to Ahmedabad and Birmingham to Amritsar. To fly the #1 quiet and green airline, contact your travel agent or visit airindia.in.
स्कूल जाना तो एक सपना था, रोज देखता उस खाने वाली गाड़ी को, सबको बढ़िया खाना, खुशी होती थी देखकर। फिर वो दिन आया जब मैं भी गया स्कूल, लगा कि सपने देखने की ताकत मिल गई हो। अरे पेट भरा हो तो पूरा ध्यान पढ़ाई में रहेगा ना। प्रार्थना करता हूँ कि वो खाने वाली गाड़ी हमेशा स्कूल आती रहे। थैंक यू अक्षय पात्र।
आइए हाथ बटाइए ताकि भारत में 16 लाख से भी ज्यादा बच्चों को स्कूल में पौष्टिक खाना मिलता रहे।
स्वागत है आपका प्रोग्राम जन्म कुंडली में। कैसा होगा ग्रहों का हाल आपके लिए, किस तरह से आप ले पाएंगे इनसे लाभ, क्या होगी दशा आपके लिए, देखना ना भूलें जन्म कुंडली विद अनिल शर्मा ऑन MATV।
हेस्टन हाइड वेस्ट लंदन के सबसे शानदार होटल्स में से एक, with 303 air-conditioned rooms and suites, one of the largest banquet spaces in London, meeting room for up to 1200 people, conferences, musical function, weddings या कोई भी गैदरिंग, मनपसंद भोजन, शानदार आयोजन और बेहतरीन वेन्यू, 400 गाड़ियों की पार्किंग के साथ हेस्टन हाइड। फॉर बुकिंग्स कॉल 0208 572 1818।
वसीयतनामा और ट्रस्ट बनाने के साथ ही आप अपने परिवार और जायदाद की हिफाजत हमेशा के लिए कर सकते हैं। एबेकस विल्स एंड ट्रस्ट माहिर हैं। विल्स और ट्रस्ट लिखने में, इनहेरिटेंस टैक्स प्लानिंग और पावर ऑफ अटर्नी बनाने में। हमारी लीगल टीम आपकी कागजी कार्रवाई आपके हालात और जरूरत के मुताबिक बनाते हैं। आप ही की मदद करने के लिए है यहाँ on 0845 025 000।
दोस्तों, वेलकम बैक टू MATV स्टूडियो साथी के संग संग। As I said before, you can watch us on Sky Channel 714, and it is also at this present time you can watch live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, online. So literally you can watch us around the world. And if you know any friends anywhere, even in India, Pakistan, China or Timbuktu, just tell them that MATV is available everywhere. So this program and some past programs you can watch on my channel on YouTube. On YouTube, just click Dr. Sathi Ludhianvi and you will be able to watch nearly 300 programs there. And this program will be permanently there after it is broadcast and also on MATV channel. So you can watch anytime. Today we got a guest here, Rani Bilku. She is doing wonderful job for our community and I'm very pleased that she has come and I'm very thankful. Rani Bilku ji, before the break we were discussing about the honor, even honor killing also it has happened in the past. There was one case in Hayes and there are various other cases as well. If we move on from there, we are still talking about the women or the girls. Female feticide is the major problem in this country. And few years back, Sunday Times had an investigation. And they said, it is all written, it is all historical. They are saying in the Asian community, they did not let 15,000 girls not born in 20 years. Maybe the figure is far higher because they don't know that once in certain families, once the woman is pregnant, she is sent to India and the girl is aborted there. How widespread is the problem in this country?
I think within our communities, it's very much widespread in terms, especially the Indian communities, where there's a desire to have boys. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you my example. So when I had my second girl, whose name is Gina now, and everyone, it doesn't phone karte si kida afsos karte hai if someone died in the house. It was like, tera sora vi ekko ek munda si, my husband ekko ek munda ya hun gaha munda de dinde. I was thinking, okay. Anyway, then and then I went on and had 2 boys, and then I had my 5th child, which is very unusual, for apni families or for a Sikh girl to have 5 children. And we went to the Gurdwara and ਅਸੀਂ ਉੱਪਰ ਗਏ, ਸਤਿ ਸ਼੍ਰੀ ਅਕਾਲ ਬੁਲਾਈ, welcomed her to the community, and ਅਸੀਂ ਥੱਲੇ ਆਏ and ਆਪਣੀ ਆਂਟੀ ਸੀ, ਮੇਰੇ 2 ਵੱਡੀਆਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੰਗਰ ਲੈਣ ਗਈਆਂ and I was sitting down and ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਕੁੜੇ ਤੇਰੇ ਕੀ ਹੋਇਆ and ਮੇਰੀ ਕੁੜੀ ਸੋਪਾ her name is, ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਆਂਟੀ ਗੁੱਡੀ ਹੋਈ ਆ, ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਹਾਏ ਹਾਏ ਨਹੀਂ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਤੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਇੰਨੀ ਪੜ੍ਹੀ ਲਿਖੀ ਆ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਸੀਪ ਦੇਣੀ ਪੈਂਦੀ ਸੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਤਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਕੁਝ ਕਰ ਲੈਂਦੀ ਹੁਣ ਕਹਿੰਦੀ ਇੰਨਾ ਇੰਨਾ and I was thinking
so ਔਰਤ ਦੀ ਦੁਸ਼ਮਣ ਹੋਈ
and ਔਰਤ and I'm thinking ਅਸੀਂ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ and ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਕੁਝ ਦੱਸਦੇ ਆ ਹਨਾ I thought ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਆਂਟੀ ਜੀ ਚੰਗਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਮਾਂ ਨੇ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੀਤਾ ਫਿਰ ਚੁੱਪ ਕਰ ਗਈ so ਮੇਰਾ ਕਹਿਣ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਆ in our community there's issues around sex selection abortion ਹੁਣ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ ਹੁਣ ਸਾਥੀ ਜੀ ਕਿਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਹਨਾ in I think in 1999 or 98 hana, there was a BBC Asian network, they did a research, India gave to do, and they found sex selection abortion there that was going on. Hana. But in today, if you go to Slough, उत्थे भी लिखा scan clinic सारे ने पता उस scan clinic किया right?
So how because it is it not against the law?
So there's three things. The government are saying it's illegal. The General Medical Council are saying it depends on each case, and the abortion clinics are saying the law is silent. So in 2014 and 2015 we had a vote in Parliament, but unfortunately we didn't win that. But it was really about raising the awareness. Now, Sathi, you don't need to go in India. ਇੱਥੇ ਵੀ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਹੁਣ ਅੱਜ ਕੱਲ when you're 7 to 8 weeks pregnant, you can go on the internet and you can just do a blood account and although that's in there whether you're having a boy or girl. It is very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. So the ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਕਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਉਣੀਆਂ ਜੇ ਮੁੰਡੇ ਹੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਮਾਈ ਜਾਣੇ?
Okay, so basically, so what can be done if the government is not even supporting this?
I think it has to be done on a multi-level platform, Hannah. We have to start having this conversation like we're having the conversation, and for me, it still has to be done on a government level.
Because when you said about these gurdwara, you gave an example. And we go to Gurdwara, Matha take and everything. We listen to the Gurbani. And Guru Nanak Dev said, "So kyo manda akhi hai, jit jamme rajan." And it har weli matlab dasya ja raha. Even then, people are inclined to abort the children, abort the girl child.
Not only abort, for jado hona kida ik jado kudiyan hundiyan, है ना? Women have been left in hospital. सस्सां जांदियां नहीं कहते अपने घर चल जावे जो दूसरी या तीसरी कुड़ी हो जाती है कुड़ियां have been thrown down the stairs when they're pregnant. कुड़ियां ਨੂੰ ਇਦਾਂ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੈ ਨਾ breast feed ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੁੜੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ ਮੁੰਡਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਓ so ਪੱਥਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਹੁੰਦੀਆਂ ਪੱਥਰ ਜੰਮੇ ਆ
ਜੇ ਪਰ the thing is ਹੁਣ ਤਾਂ ਫੇਰ ਉਹ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਵਾਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ
yes so ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਾਂ we started the conversation
we started the conversation that the world has changed it hasn't
yeah it hasn't
okay let me say another thing also because the immigration is increasing in the sense our immigration I mean Punjabis and Indians they're increasing because if somebody is living in Italy, for example, or Portugal, under the EU law, he or she is entitled to come here.
Yeah.
So a lot of families are coming in this country who are relatively new from India.
Yeah.
Do you come across those kind of people also?
Yeah, we come across all types of people, no? But when abuse can happen across the board, but with those people who are coming here, there's second country where they're trying to settle in, so there's more exploitation that goes on there, especially now with Brexit. You would think, what's Brexit and people coming in? There's so many women who are like so Eastern European women, Polish women who are married to either Pakistani or Indian men, and there's an increase in domestic violence because of the issue with Brexit. So I think
when we talk about domestic violence, there's also domestic violence against men.
Yes.
So what kind of violence is there?
So when we're looking at what we've had a referral from, we're a very small organisation. 1 in 3 of our referrals are men from people who are coming straight from Pakistan or India, and to people who have been in the army, people who are solicitors. So when we're looking at that domestic violence, they may be women who are drinking and then being violent towards their husbands, and there are those women who are professionals but still exploiting them in terms of psychological and emotional abuse. For example, tu apni maa de nahi ja sakta, tu aa nahi kar sakta, or you ka. So there's loads of different forms of domestic violence.
So if the man is earning less than the wife, and that he can face domestic violence, and he can be asked to clean the house and do cooking, look after children, and all those things, which is
fine if it's understanding.
Which is fine if it is understandable, but not forced.
No, not forced. So we get some men who actually put their money, and it could be the other way around as well, where they put the money straight into, you know, even their mother's account or their wife's account, or so that is also what we don't understand. That is still domestic violence. It's financial abuse, what we're going to be called economic abuse, where they've got no access to those funds.
Okay, let's go to another area when we talk about domestic violence against men or boys. In our community, being gay or lesbian is literally a crime.
Yes.
You know, it is not looked down as something very respectable, and they try to hide it. Do you come across some boys, got married off, to a girl so that, not so that, but because the parents are thinking that once he is married, he will be okay. Siddha ho
chuka. And that's, political is a crime against the man, because, he doesn't want to do it, so he becomes an unwilling sort of perpetrator, so to speak. Then obviously the girl that's coming in, she thinks she has this whole world in front of her, thinking my marriage is going to be brilliant. But can I also say the domestic violence that can also occur there, where they think if someone's gay, where they're having, they go to some bubble, they go somewhere and they have, therapy, where they want to de-gay someone, and that is also abuse. Where they're putting electrodes, they're, literally what we would call brainwashing, or leaving their liberty. They tie them up, or, they kidnap them, or they send them to India. That is abuse. You can't do that. If someone is gay, it is that is their natural order, what it is. We cannot turn someone by doing 101 part, by doing other things which actually physically assault them.
I was coming to that actually. This andhavishwas, jinu kehte na Punjabi ch, andhavishwas, the believing in something which cannot happen in real life. And all these babes and whatnot.
Then they get exploited financially as well, because they'll go, the mothers will go, inne paise le lo, sada munda theek kar do,
Ja munda theek kar do, ja jehdi even just sex selection di vi gall hegi hai. I'm sure they must be going to these people as well.
So I'll tell you,
ke sade ghar munda ho jave.
So and there's so much sexual exploitation going on there, but also financial exploitation. Tusi eh gal karde in terms
when you say sexual exploitation, what do you mean?
Because you get some babbe who actually then sexually exploit and assault the women. How many cases do we know but never gets reported because sharam di mare? And if it does, then there's a big hoo-ha. We need to start talking about that. What about the sexual exploitation and the financial exploitation that's going in our places of worship? We don't say anything. How many times do we learn that, oh, gyani ne jao, iman ne jao, or pandit ne kuch kita, but we don't talk about it. Kyun? Sharam di mare. We have to start talking about safeguarding in the guise of religion, right? People can still be exploited. Look at the Catholic Church. They've been very brave. They weren't in the beginning, but we have to start talking. We are the community, and we have to make sure we're keeping our youngsters safe.
Do you, when you say sexual exploitation, is there sexual exploitation going on within the family?
Yes, there is, within the family. It can go on anywhere. So when we're looking, do you know where most rapes happen? There's a myth, we say, baar na jao kudiyan nu, or you get raped by someone who we don't know. Most rapes happen in the home.
Okay, let's move on. That's very sad, actually, what you're saying, which is obviously true. And female genital mutilation, I thought it is just one certain African community which is happening there. Is it happening in our community as well?
Yeah, so FGM or cutting, it's actually happening in 28, 29 countries of the world, but also includes Pakistan and India, especially in Mumbai, the Bora community. They are also known to do FGM. So there's different types of FGM.
But FGM is against the law in this country.
Yeah, it's not just against many of the World Health Organizations have said it's against the law, but it is still going on.
But I hasten to add, despite the fact that FGM is against the law in this country, what I read in the press was that hardly anybody has been prosecuted.
No, there's only been one prosecution. That was only a couple of days ago, as I understand, in Bristol, I think it was. But yes, you're right. There's been no prosecutions at all.
So what is the reason behind it? Is it the political correctness, or is it something else?
I think.
Or is it the do-gooders who are doing it?
I don't know about that. I think a lot more is being done, but the community itself is quite silent. So I know that, for example, in Heathrow Airport, when planes are coming from these countries and they've opened their suitcases, they can see cutting things in there. But nothing has been done about it. So it might be a little bit of good.
So we are the same community. I remember that at the 1980s. We demonstrated against if you are virgin or not,
the
virginity test.
Tests, yes.
Yeah, it was it used to be called virginity test because what happened was, in a couple of cases, they found out that the girls who arrived at Heathrow Airport, that is according to the Home Office, they arrived at the Heathrow Airport, they are saying, I am not married.
Yeah.
And then they did the virginity test and found out that she was in fact. But the community was right to demonstrate this kind of discrimination.
Of course, yes.
Yeah, but it's the same community which has reached to a stage in 2018 where we are doing ourselves those things which we were saying, why are you telling us to do those kind of things?
And this is an evolving issue that we need to start talking about, but also, as you've quite rightly said about political correctness, we've got to ask those questions. And we've got to ensure that the communities that we are serving, that they understand what safeguarding is, because there are many communities who, for example, work for organisations, say for example for, I don't know, a domestic violence organisation, and sometimes they also, let's just say they're interpreters, and they also are involved in the abuse. So they will say, for example, we've had cases where women are saying, for example...
Oh, you had the cases?
Yeah, we've had one case where a woman saying in Punjab, because I speak Punjabi, obviously, I know Punjabi, when we're doing a statement, we have to have an independent interpreter. And this woman is telling her, telling the interpreter that ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਮਾਰਦਾ ਆ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਥੱਲੇ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਗੋਡੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਿਰ ਮੇਰੀ ਗੁੱਤ ਖਿੱਚਦਾ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਕਿਦਾਂ ਠੁੱਡ ਮਾਰਦਾ ਆ. He interpreted this by saying he misbehaves.
He misbehaved?
Yeah. So I said, I'm sorry, but I have to stop this because this is not right what he's interpreting. Right? And first of all, when I say he, it's completely wrong for a female to have a male interpreter, because especially Sadia khas kuriyan timiyan vidastiyan, luckily there was no sexual assault or anything. She wouldn't even swear. Like there's an admi there. So, it's our own interpreters can be also involved with the abuse as well.
Okay. Let's move on to another area. When we talk about faith schools, the education given to girls only, sitting on one side, boys on the other side, self-apartheid sort of system. Is it happening in our community?
Well, I think according to a lot of the research and a lot of the undercover footage of some journalists, yes, I think particularly in Birmingham it was happening. So I sit on the fence with faith schools at the moment, but particularly...
Why are you sitting on the fence? You got to say either you are in favour of or not?
Yeah, I mean, ironically, because my son's going to a faith school and they did go earlier on as well, but
So your son is going to the faith school?
Yes,
Are you happy with it?
I think what it is, it's very different. I think when faith schools are run, no matter what faith school it is, they've got to remember this is not the mosque, this is not the mandir, or this is not the gurdwara. This is a school.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't run it as a committee does. Right. In a faith school. So I really think it has to be run in a way.
Do you know the difference between Christian schools, Roman Catholic or Protestant schools, was that because when I came in this country, my boy was studying and everything.
Well,
there was no difference there because in Christian school they wouldn't tell you to convert you to that particular faith. But nowadays, the faith schools, even if it is a Muslim school or Hindu school or Sikh school, their idea of faith school is that we want to tell the children how to be a better Sikh, better Muslim, better Hindu. So when you tell them that you should not be telling these kind of things, they are saying, what is the point of having faith schools?
Yeah, I think, so I can't speak obviously for all faith schools, but I do know from the undercover reporting that was done, particularly with the Muslim faith school, where they saw boys at the front, preferential treatment was given, and the girls were at the back, and then certain things weren't delivered right in the classroom. I do think there's an issue there. Now, and also when we're looking at integration within the community, where else are people going to integrate if they don't integrate in school?
Right, you're right.
So I think integration is the main.
Because I said this on this program some other time as well, that by law they should have 20% children from other faiths. But I doubt very much if it's a Sikh school and the Muslim parents will send their children there, and vice versa.
I think in what I've seen at my son's school, that there are some people from different faiths there. So I've seen that from my own eyes. So I do, and again, it's a hard one.
Why did you choose the faith school for your child?
He chose.
No, come on.
Okay, so he chose that himself, actually. So
he chose himself?
Yeah, so he went to a normal sort of an academy, and then last year he decided to change schools.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was it was his thing.
Okay, when we talk about adoption and fostering, how serious is the problem among Asians?
Okay, so first, when a couple can't have children, the world can be a very cruel place in particular communities. And it's usually blamed on the woman, and they seek another woman then, to get married to. We as a community don't even think about looking at other options of adoption and of fostering as well.
Do we have a lot of children, who are looking for the house, in an Asian household?
So there is
in all
a
the
lack,
communities?
Yes, so there is a lack of fostering for Asian children.
Fostering and adopting.
And adopting. And also there's a lack of foster parents as well. So we really need to, as a community, come together and look at how we can help the community.
If a child is a girl, looking for a household, foster parents, or to be adopted, she is discriminated against?
Yes. I'm going to, just from the work that we do, I think there is a large percentage of the time that she will be discriminated against. And it's a shame.
It is a shame. It is a shame. Okay, I was reading your biodata and the other details, and I have seen that the money are hard to come by.
Yes.
People are donating, and people are helping you or volunteering. Only then your organization is surviving.
I mean, I don't get a wage, so we haven't got any funding at the moment at all.
Okay,
so we're reliant on people.
Okay, but what the government is saying, why can't they give you the money?
So we're applying for different grants, etc. But I do have to say this, and I want to put this on record, that I believe that you have to fit a certain face and say certain things. So if you're going to challenge people, I do believe that at times, your face does not fit. So whether that's looking at local government or you're looking at national government. And I'm very critical at the moment with, local government, especially some of, women who've been...
So you're not being helped?
No. No, we're not.
Okay, do you think as a taxpayer, or I am the taxpayer, do we pay 13 billion pound a year in overseas aid? Do you think the money should come from that fund
Well, I
for organizations like you?
Well, I think there should be money available, and it depends. I mean, we're quite happily, because we work internationally in we repatriate people coming back from Pakistan or India who've been forced to go there. So we do things internationally as well. But I really do think that we need to have a think about that. But also,
no, this is a good point in itself.
Yeah.
I mean, we are paying 13 billion pound to other countries while we need the money here. You got the problems you have highlighted. They're extremely important.
Yes.
Okay, we are discussing Asians, we are as Asians, but
it's
there can be other
board.
communities
Yes.
as well
Yeah.
who need the money, the organizations like that. So do you think it should come from that fund?
Well, I think there needs to be. I think there needs to be a reshake of everything, full stop. But can I also add, whilst I'm critical of the austerity measures, etc., I'm also critical of our own communities, because if I'm saying to people, could you please donate £10 a month, or could you just give me some money because I just need, I need to go and drop this lady off to Basingstoke, because just the petrol money. People don't want to do that. But if you say to them, ਪੱਖਾ ਲਾਉਣਾ ਹੈ ਗੁਰਦੁਆਰੇ ਜਾਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਆ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈ ਉੱਥੇ ਮੰਦਿਰ ਜਾਂ whatever, people just don't know. They'll go,
that is the problem.
ਇੱਕ pound ਦੇ ਦਈਏ ਇਹਦੇ ਲਈ, and I'm thinking, but we do more work in the community, and yet we go to the gurdwaras and we go, oh, toilet ਦੇਖਿਆ ਇੰਨੇ ਗੰਦੀਆਂ ਆ, ਉਹ ਕੁਛ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ. And I'm thinking, but you're the same people. If I say, can you please donate to any, not just myself, but any charity, we think that we need to start thinking. And this is almost like, if we put money in the golok or wherever, it's almost like we're washing away our sins. It's almost like we're using God as a way, but actually giving money to any good cause is good.
I don't know whether you did or not. If you were to approach, say, Gurdwara or Mandir, let's say Gurdwara. Okay, you go to Gurdwara and the Gurdwara is rich in itself, and you say, look, this is what I'm doing. Can you help us? What would they say?
With my hand on my heart, they will say no.
The reason being?
They will say, okay, मैं लोगों ਨੂੰ ਕੁੜੀਆਂ ਨੂੰ divorce ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ.
That is another issue actually, because you know this Southall sisters, what they call?
Southall Black sisters.
Yeah. People often blame them, if there's a breakup of a marriage or something like that. So anybody highlighting these kind of problems which you are highlighting now, or this program is highlighting, so they will blame us that we are telling people which we should not be telling.
Yeah. So that's where we need to start having that conversation. And this is a very good start.
Okay. That's thank you very much for coming here. So dosto, that was our program. I hope you liked it, and I will see you next Thursday at 9:30 p.m. with